Welcome to Study Loop.
For this question, we are taking a look at the FLC gene and its effects on the plant to flower. So we're given that when the temperature drops and it gets cold, we're going to have a decrease expression of this FLC gene, which just means we have less transcription and translation for the proteins that allow the flower to bloom. So this, when you take a look at the answer choices, they're all going to involve or mention histones. So this is a gene regulation pathway of the histones, either through the methylation or the acetylation of these proteins. So for this, you can imagine two scenarios of the DNA bound to your histone proteins. You have the conformation where your histones are very close together, which would be the methylated state, meaning there are methyl groups attached to these histone proteins. And you have the other state where the DNA is very open and less bound, and these histones are farther apart, which is going to be in the acetylated state. So here you can imagine that in both of these cases, the DNA is going to wind around these histone proteins. However, in the methylated group, they're going to be more tightly bound and more bound, whereas in the acetylated state, they are less tightly wound, and you can see more of the DNA is visible. Now, the DNA has to be visible and accessible to polymerases in order to be transcribed. So here you can imagine that here we have the open DNA with the gene for that FLC gene. So when our DNA is in this acetylated state, this FLC gene is going to be transcribed and translated. However, when the temperature drops and it gets cold, we're going to revert to this methylated state, where the DNA closes, the histones get closer together, and the gene is practically blocked. So polymerases are not able to attach to this gene, read it, and transcribe it. So knowing those details, the best answer choice here is going to be A, that our new saplings are going to occur in this acetylated state, because this allows access for our polymerases to read and transcribe the FLC gene, which will cause the plant to flower and bloom. When it gets cold, the histone proteins are going to be in their methylated state, which closes off the gene and prevents the production of the proteins. And this prevents the flower from blooming because it doesn't have those proteins necessary to bloom. So here again, you should pick answer choice A.